What's going on, Tamers? Welcome to DigiPod, the digital podcast. Today featuring the one, the only, Karn EX.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Quick question.
Guys. Appreciate
Is it Karn X or Karn EX?
EX. I always say this at the start of every video because for a while I was getting people saying, well, I still get people saying Karn X or Karen X. That one's a classic typo.
No.
Yeah, that one's oh man. It's my real name. Karn's my actual name. So like I can't be like, oh, time for a new username or whatever.
That checks out. So yes, it's a very special episode today for y'all. We were very lucky. I just reached out to Karn one day on Reddit and I was just like, hey, Poke, you mind doing a podcast with us? And he was like,
My man said Poke, like really.
it's really, I feel like that's how it went. I was just like, all right, we're gonna shoot our shot and see what happens.
I feel like I'm always down for stuff. I think like maybe because like I don't know if there's like this weird thing on YouTube where people assume like people won't do stuff. Obviously I can't reply to everyone, but like yeah, like I'm down for podcasts and stuff. Don't come at me with some weird podcast. I'm not going to jump. This is an open invitation to the the Redimon fans out there or whatever.
Oh my
no. Rule 34?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I love the exposure that Digimon gets. It's been like exploding, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But in our chat the other day, our boy Cliff sent us this video and it was a Digimon Smasher pass. And I was looking at it like, okay.
I feel like those pop up like once a year though. Like someone makes a video of Digimon Smash or Pass all the time, I feel like.
So I think we ended up doing one on our side channel, but it's like kind of like a joke, as like a skewering of people doing it. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Like we didn't get like no legitimate care here. And then I go on other people's videos and I'm like, oh no, you're okay. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I like Aru Kenimon as much as the next guy, but you gotta rein it in a little bit,
Hey, depending on which version you get, it might be a little crazy.
Both.
He sounds down for it all. If my head gets eaten off, it is what it is.
What a way to go out,
Hey, Digimon Survive all over, right?
Wow.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
So we're gonna start today's podcast off getting to know you, Karn. So let us know, how'd you get into Digimon? I guess that's like the big question. We asked that to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was again just being a kid. I mean, I'm 31. I'm old as hell. Can I curse on this thing, by the way?
Oh, you're totally fine.
I'm old as fuck. Yeah, I think like original Digimon Adventure, like just Digimon Digital Monsters when I was a kid. I feel like I probably watched Digimon the movie like the most out of all of them when I was a kid, just because it was on so much. Like it was it was on VHS and stuff. Like it was easy to watch. And then I think.
Hey, they brought it back with VHS.
Oh man, yeah. I had growing up, we didn't really have we had like some TV, but like not like American equivalent of cable or whatever. So I would sit like my bedtime routine was like all three Land Before Time movies at the time, or like the Digimon movie or whatever it might have been. I had this big thing full of VHS. I've been like playing like the Digivice toys, I think a lot as a kid as well, and that kind of like 02 specifically. Which obviously became like a big thing in the content later on. But yeah, it pretty much, like I've always been a Digimon fan since Digimon was available. I think the only thing I missed out on was like the original run of the Digital Monster V-Pads, which like wasn't really a thing in my sphere.
Right.
And then I think probably because I don't think Frontier aired over here. I don't recall it ever airing over here. So I kind of felt like I liked it like more nostalgically in high school. And then I think it was like when Try was coming out, I was like, oh, they're putting effort into the shit again. Okay. And I kind of, I'd played Digimon Masters all the way up to that point and stuff like that, like really awful random stuff. But that was when I started like kind of keying back in and getting more familiar with the franchise again.
Digimon Masters is such a throwback. I remember playing that in all of middle school and a little bit of high school. And I wasn't good at it. Obviously, I was a kid. I couldn't spend money on it. But I was like, oh my goodness, I get to play and I can try to get this.
You're not good at video games, period. So like, it makes sense.
Yeah,
So
I,
it's
I
this
was playing. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. Good.
So I was playing Masters, probably like in my early teens with, I was roping my non-Digimon friends in to play it with me. But then most of my Masters experience, because I also couldn't pay any money, didn't even have a credit card at that point, was when my other guildy friends were off, like my friends from real life that played with me, I would just jump, they had like different channels that you for like different people playing. I would go to the selling channels and get like the cheapest data I could and then jump to a higher channel and sell it for more and just sit my character down for like 12 hours and just rig the
Peddling
system.
data out here.
Yeah, I was a dealer, man. I was a hacker dealer,
He sounds selling
Digimon
Bitcoin
Seekers
before
really
Bitcoin
spoke to
became a thing.
Literally, I had it going on,
Oh, that's fantastic.
There's this reoccurring trend of Dan to say that I'm not a real Digimon fan because, all right, to put it more specifically, that I'm a fake Digimon fan because I didn't watch all of any Digimon series except Savers until recently.
Wow.
I didn't play much of the Digimon games. I did play Dawn and Dusk and World DS. I was one of those kids, okay? Like, I had my DS, and the DS is the only game, the DS and the PSP, because, sure, we all have TVs, but, when you're a kid, mom and dad are like, get off the TV. So, the DS and the PSP. Oh, must be nice. That's where I completed all my games, though. So I played through all of World and then Dawn and Dusk. And that was like it for Digimon games. And then for Digimon TV shows, the only reason I watched Savers is because it was on Jetix.
Yeah, Jetix was awesome. Well, if it makes you feel better, I watched everything I watched first 3 seasons, and then obviously I've now since watched a bunch of stuff. I played like 2 Digimon games growing up, max. Digimon World 1, okay. Bandai Namco's watching this, didn't happen, and it's fictional. I had a chip PS1 when I was a kid. And for my birthday, and now I think about it, kind of a shitty present. Someone gave me a burnt off copy of Digimon World 1. I could have at least sprung for the full,
Right.
So I played that for probably an hour and went, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm dying. Is this good? Is this bad? So I kind of
always got a new one too, probably.
Always got it. Dude, sometimes I wouldn't even get to the new one. Sometimes I just shit yourself to death. You know what I mean? Like, I was just no good at this stuff. I didn't understand. Like, I was like, I had the Digivice toys where they didn't poop. Like, that was my Digimon experience as far as V-Pets went.
Oh my God.
And then really it was like, I think the first Rumble Arena, I want to say. And then it was not until that DS era where I also had a way to play games that was much easier than other people, shall we say. And there was a website that you could just get new games every day. And that's when like World Dawn and Dusk kind of entered my... And I think that's when I first really like played through a Digimon game.
But those games also like held your hand more because...
the first 3 is ruthless. They don't hold your hand for anything. They let you know the basics, and that's it. It's like, well, go find your way, because that was just the era of games back then. Like video games back then, especially RPGs, they didn't hold your hand for crap. If you had to talk to a random NPC for the story to move on, they would never tell you that. You gotta go do it yourself. Like that was just the era of games back then.
It's crazy that like as Digimon fans, we've come that far. Like everybody looks back on Digimon World 1 with such nostalgia. But like realistically speaking,
don't do this.
Don't
do this.
Realistically
the game was
speaking,
fantastic. It's still
the game had such a horrible quality of life. It didn't make you feel like you knew what you was doing. Is old. Listen, I love Digimon, but everything about it. I hate playing most retro games because I'm spoiled. And every game nowadays, they either hold my hand or they make it easy. And Digimon World,
you know what makes Digimon World great? Every time I do my run through, at least like once a year minimum, that you can play the game the way you want to play it. And every time you play the game, you always learn something from it because it's always something different that happens. because of just the way the game is. It's a fantastic experience every time. And like I enjoy it more the older I get, because when I was younger, obviously I didn't understand games back then as much. But man, like even then I still did decent in it. I beat it as a kid still, but like I enjoy the idea of how the game works the more you get older, because you understand the little nuances like discipline. Ain't no one understood what the hell discipline was in the game when we were kids, or like the happy gauge. You knew it was happy, but you didn't know which one it was discipline or not. You just never knew until you learn. Hey, if I scold my Digimon for, not eating his food, I can raise his discipline. Oh, that's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you just find these little different nuances every single time. And it was just something that I learned how to become a better gamer in that game because of that. Like, it's just such a great experience every time.
Dan, you play through Digimon World every year. You can't give me YouTube content for Digimon World when you do it.
I haven't done it in a bit. That's why.
So that means it's coming up soon, and I should be expecting gameplay videos, right?
I mean, the issue is it's on my phone now. So, like,
You got screen recording software.
I didn't steal any content. I just, downloaded my own games or somewhere, I didn't do anything illegal. Yeah. I know how to do all that. Yeah. But, it was terrible. My first Digimon World 1 disc was so scratched up on the back that the moment I got to Gear Savannah, it was over. I used to pray and hope to the gods that each loading screen will pass through, because it will freeze in the loading screens, not in in the actual gameplay. It was the loading screens. And so Gear Savannah, I'll be like, oh my God, please. If it lasts like more than like a minute, I knew it was over. And I would just leave it there sometimes hoping for the best, and it just wouldn't happen.
Man. Games back then, like gaming in general back then, with discs and memory cards. Like when we first got a PS2, we didn't have a memory card for it, so I had to Final Fantasy X just sat there for like 24, 48 hours.
We did that with my friend's PS2 for his Kingdom Hearts 1 run one time. We left the game on. Like, we left his PS2 on the whole week. And then we were up to like the final boss. And his mom comes in, cleans the room, turns it off, not understanding. And we lost every single thing. I was like, yo, this did not happen.
Man. A couple of years back, like 3 or 4 years back, my friend and I tried to... we unlocked every character in Tekken 3 in one night. And we realized, because there was no like save option in the main menu.
Yep.
We realized like the next morning, we like powered the PS1 off and we're like, fuck, autosave just wasn't a thing back then. Fuck. So we completely had to do the entire run again the second day because we had lost literally like 12 hours of character unlock progress. Sucked.
That's crazy to talk about. Nowadays we take that for granted. We're just like, I'm gonna get to X point and I'm gonna shut off, or I'm gonna put my thing to sleep or whatever. But back then,
rest mode now.
Hope you have your memory card inserted, because there's no such thing as inserting it and then trying to save. Hope it's a good memory card. You don't have to do the try to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy times we've come from. So, Tarn, what would you say, having consumed all the Digimon that you have, your favorite piece of Digimon media is? Anime, manga, or elsewise?
Media overall is so tough.
Yeah, I think you gotta separate that as like animes and then like games.
Do you? All right.
Because there's just so many different things you can talk about in that, right? Like,
yeah.
All right. Favorite anime?
Okay, favorite, and I want to make clear here, this is favorite, not like what I think is necessarily the best, is 02.
Okay.
02 is always going to be, I have this weird thing with like the sequel to things, like 02, Power Rangers Zeo, like Apollo Jet, like I always like the second iteration of something. 02, I think just because I loved I know obviously I was a kid, so like, the flaws that were there didn't present themselves as much, but I've always liked the idea of like the next generation as well.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Characters that were maybe like how Yoli shows up as a younger kid in the movie, and then we saw her in 02 as an adult and stuff. I guess at the end of the movie as an adult or as a teenager. So yeah, 02 I think is always going to be super like nostalgic for me, and also just Armor Digivolution I think is still my favorite Armor and DNA are my two favorite types of Digivolution, so those both being in that show are like complete peak. But then Tamers comes very close. I think Tamers is... It's so hard to say that Tamers is the best anime because it almost like vindicates annoying people.
I know exactly where you're going with that one.
You know what I mean? But like, yeah, 02 is my favorite, and then I think probably Tamers and Savers Data Squad are like coming in underneath.
Yeah, Savers, baby. I love
so
Savers.
So slept on.
I agree. I like Savers a lot. I gotta give like, so I watched 01, I watched 02.
Mm-hmm.
I'm maybe halfway through Tamers. Or no, I finished Tamers and I'm halfway through Frontier. So I gotta finish Frontier so I can move back on to Savers because I haven't watched it since I was a kid. But from what I can remember, I mean, it's like the most it's not the most memorable one. But like when you got Marcus out here just like squaring up with Digimon, like that lives with you. You're just like, well, if Marcus wasn't afraid to punch a Craniumon, surely it's not that bad, right?
Or like literally a god of a server. I think the problem with Data Squad is that it's like very like back to formula. Like it's very like it's we've got an Agumon again. We've got like there's obviously it's more like a kind of military group or whatever, but it doesn't have, apart from Marcus punching everyone all the time, it doesn't have like internetable hype and aura moments. So like there's not like there's no like DNA Digivolution really. Like the most exciting type of evolution is burst mode. Like I think if they'd have either like had something like Armor or DNA or done something like Biomerge or something like Tamers did, or just introduced like a completely new, like rather than just a mode change, like something really significant, I think it probably would have resonated with more people because like so much of it is really good. Like the plot wise, it's really good. Like it's actually satisfying when it ends and stuff. So I think, it's one of the slept on ones, but I kind of understand why, because it's harder apart from Marcus punching everything to be like, yo, this was crazy.
And I applaud them. I assume they did that because like Frontier probably wasn't the most well received. And for what it's worth, like garbage. I remember it coming on as a kid, and I was like, "Is this Digi Rangers? Like, are they morphing? Like, what is this?" Looking back on it as an adult, like I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate the willingness, especially for the time, right? I think that was maybe like a 2004 or 5 anime,
something like that.
Data Squad or Frontier?
Frontier,
like 2003, 2002. It's very it was like
very early, and
early
just
2000s.
like that willingness to like explore a different. You're keeping in the Digimon universe, but here, let's try this different concept.
Right.
And it's like, all right, cool. Because obviously, that's the type of stuff you take for granted now, because we get a new anime like once every 5 years or so.
It's been a little better recently, but there was some gaps there. I think the other thing, people say this a lot about Digimon, like about the anime and the games. They're like, oh, like I wish it was more like Pokemon, that it was like consistent throughout. I'm like, I honestly think that's one of the strengths of Digimon is like, you don't have to sit down and watch 20 years of anime to understand and everything. Like, you've got your tries and your Kizunas and stuff that like pick up the plots of older stuff, adventure. But I think it's kind of cool that you can like Digimon can be something different to everybody. You don't have to be like, you can be a super fan in like every single element, or you can like just have been an anime fan, or just a video game fan, or just a Vital Bracelet fan,
Yeah, that's fair. I think one of the biggest ones is being an Appmon fan. Probably one of like the biggest contentions out, even more so than Frontier and like all of Digimon, because
which is so weird to me, like the hatred of Appmon. So like I understand not like caring for it, and I don't care what people do and don't like, and I understand like making the distinction because they are technically different, but there is this like vehement hate of Appmon online. I'm like,
it's crazy. Let me tell you.
Definitely noticed that
Digimons are from the card game side.
That's what I'm talking about. When they introduced Appmon into the card game, and we're obviously in the card game Facebook stuff, man, the hate for Appmon was crazy. I was like, let him live. No, like it's a Digimon too. It's gonna come eventually,
Yeah, it was before that, Dan. All right. So Karn, I'm not sure how much you know, so you can stop me if you know any of this, but we got a card. It was called Hidden, what was it called then? Like Future?
No, the Haru.
The one with Haru on it.
Yeah.
And everybody was going crazy. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah. Haru and Gachamon are on a card. Are we going to be getting Appmon soon? This is crazy. And there were so many people in the comments like, Appmon? Ew.
Yeah.
I hope we never see Appmon. They are disgusting. They are not Digimon. I never want to see them in my Digimon card game.
Yeah.
What's crazy is like, there's the hatred, but also it's so weird to me because it's like people who get mad at Appmon, specifically in the TCG, where like Yggdrasil, D-Reaper, like all of these things that just aren't like are factually not Digimon, not like contentiously, they're not Digimon. And they can like, well, okay, not like most of those kind of situations can't usually digivolve, but they will say like this Digimon on the card. Like that's just the overall. So Appmon being in the game is like, it seems like such a non-issue to me. And also, well, I think it's gotten worse with like Three Musketeers, right? Because that's really annoying people. It's like, what do you mean this Appmon can digivolve for my precious Toyagumon Three Musketeer or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the funny thing as well is that this has probably been set up for like years because Raydramon, like while it had been referred to as Lydramon in English media a couple of times, or like in a few instances, like the TCG very prominently chose Lydramon in like 2022. And even I was like, oh, we're getting Raydramon eventually. Like we're getting the Appmon Raydramon.
Yeah, I said the same exact thing. Same thing with the Huckmon line because they used to be Hackmon. Hackmon is a Appmon, so it makes sense they use the other name for it.
Even though like we didn't end up getting Appmon for ages in the TCG, it's like they started future-proofing. You could see it coming in. But yeah, I've just never gotten, like I get that they work differently, but like so do the Frontier Spirits. Like there is nothing to me about Appmon Digivolution that is any weirder than retrofitting like a Gunimon to be an Agumon evolution, you know?
Right, exactly. It's like, all right, Appmon. Whatever Digimon, digital monster. Is an Appmon still not a digital monster in the form of an app? They've even gone so far as to say it's Digimon Universe aptly monsters. Right. They are aptly named Appmon. It makes sense. It fits.
Just, I understand, like, you know, people are real lore sticklers and there is some stuff about the different types of code that make them, but it's a made-up monster show for kids, man. Like, it's fine. Right. It's fine if one monster becomes a different one.
Right, exactly. I still haven't seen Appmon. And the only reason I haven't seen it is because we have another member. His name is Gino. He's consumed pretty much every
over the
piece
last
of
2 years
media, like known to man. Stuff that I've never even heard about. And he said reading Appmon is better than watching Appmon because it's more fulfilling, gives you more closure.
Well, the manga for Digimon like are not one-to-ones with like the ones that are like directly based on seasons. Like same with Cross Wars manga. Cross Wars manga is so different to what happens in Cross Wars. So yeah, I think like that's a whole other side that I feel like a lot of people sleep on because first of all, people just don't like the biggest question I always get is how do you read it? And it's like just put it into Google. Just put it into Google. You'll find it. It's not that like people have translated it. And like it would be great if they were, you know, published properly outside of Japan and stuff. And they have been in some countries. I think Germany and Spain maybe got some V-Tamer. But yeah, it is funny how many really cool, even just V-Tamer or like Digimon Next that like people just have not even either heard of or read because they're just not as accessible. They don't realize that it's just online for free.
Yeah,
definitely not legally.
So like they gave us these at Card Game Fest, whichever one it was. And it's a compilation of just various Digimon manga, which the one thing I love is how much they have embraced the community and allowing like community art and some of the community comics. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. Volume 1. Where can I get another one? Well, 2 and 3 don't have one. But then 4 just came out, but then it's Japan only. Yeah. And I'm like, that's such like a missed opportunity. I would love to have these on my shelf. I would love to walk into, I don't know, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Target, wherever, pick one up and just have it more readily available. That's why I really appreciate what they did with Liberator and putting it not just on their website, but Global Comics and Webtoons. Because I remember when it went up, and on Global Comics, it was like top 10 for maybe like the first like month or two.
Yeah. Yes. I think for the year it was like the number one comic for them too, right? I think they had said it was something crazy.
Somewhere up there, yeah.
Yeah, Liberator's had, I think, so much more impact. Obviously, because it's like synergistic with the TCG, which is huge. So like, you get a little preview of Nyabu
what's to come
before it. Yeah. And then because they're diversifying it, and like they are, like I think they even gave away at some things like a bit of the first bit of Liberator printed, which is way better than what they did with Seekers. I saw this week that Sony has bought like 5% shares of Bandai Namco.
425 mil or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize they were worth so much.
I mean, Bandai Namco has got so many properties, like that they oversee. But specifically, they mentioned pushing anime and manga, which makes sense, like Dragon Ball and shit.
Of course. But
I do wonder if that is kind of Digimon, because Digimon, at least on the Toei side, and a lot of sales reporting from Bandai Namco too, is up there. It's on the podium for earnings. And we've seen this transition with the anime team. Like there's basically like a whole new team doing the anime, and like there's been this deliberate thing of like rebirthing the anime and stuff with Beat Break. So I do wonder if that is going to lead eventually to maybe not like V-Tamer, but it would be a good idea. But just bringing out things like Liberator as a book, or if we do a new manga, making sure that's available both digitally and physically and stuff. But you don't know.
Maybe
I think Digimon's in a better spot for that than it has been historically.
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe they'll decide they won't, but maybe, nudge, nudge, Benna, if you want to do something with those live action Seekers things that you were doing.
Yeah.
I would love to watch it, no matter what the quality ends up being. Because Seekers, to me, as much as I absolutely adored it being a novel, I don't mind reading, but I also am a card game player. So reading is inherently
right.
Especially making time for it.
This is why I need a leisure, man. I can't be reading anymore. Do it for me. Right? Do it for me.
Exactly. And I would like Liberator, super easy, super digestible. Of course, it's a webcomic. Seekers, man, I love the concept. I love the setting. I love all the Digimon in it. And I just wish that it was in a more consumable format and also a more widespread one, because I know a lot of people loved Seekers, but they were like, well, I'm not reading.
Yeah,
I'm not reading a novel.
It was a difficult one because, like you say, the setting's great, characters are awesome. The initial run was like choppily translated, which doesn't help when you're reading big bits of text for it to be not ideally translated. And that's a big problem that Bandai Namco, I think, also needs to address. Like when they dropped the Shambhala information the other day, and the website was like just not right. Like just stuff was just badly machine translated. So I think that's something but that was an element for Seekers as well. And then I think also it was like the three pillars of what Seekers was like, I need to get the exact verbiage because it's so silly. Hold on. Digimon Seekers. The three pillars were, novel, trailer, products.
Right.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for trailer and products. And I think like ultimately with the Vital Bracelet specifically, the Vital Bracelet, they completely botched. And so Seekers like starts when the rot had already set into the Vital Bracelet. So we didn't really get a whole, we got like we didn't even get a dedicated Vital Bracelet. We got a band that you could put on your existing Vital Bracelet. And then, I think those live action segments, like admittedly, I think they ran them as pre-roll, so it did inflate the numbers a bit. But those live action segments for each like major chapter got tons of views. Like people were super into it, even with the cringy dubs and stuff. And like we had obviously before Seekers, we had those like Vital Bracelet PVs as well that were very similar. Like a Pokemon Twilight Wings thing, just a little 12 episode YouTube live action little thing,
Yep.
It doesn't even have to be a big narrative. Each one can be a little vignette. Like do a Seekers episode, a Liberator episode, you know?
I agree.
Yeah, it would be so, and I think that's what sucked about Seekers is that there was so much potential there, and it's like, I hope they get to pick this up somehow. Yeah. Like yes, even as much as Lugamon being a new member of the Ryudamon and Dorumon trio, and that doesn't matter at all. Like, basically at all. Like, I was thinking, yeah, Takumi Kazuchi's cool. Obviously, in the card game, Takumi Kazuchi exists. But, like, it would have been like, oh, we could have had, like, a weird trio thing for Alphamon. Like, Alphamon Luna mode or something, you know?
Right, yeah.
And that just kind of, yeah, I don't know. But then I think that's also my problem with, like, Bandai and Toei, is I'll start getting into something they make. It happened when I used to watch Tokusatsu, too. And I'll get to the first 2 episodes and go, oh, this would be really cool if this went this way, and it just doesn't. And then I'm disappointed that my own fanfic didn't happen. Shit.
But I think a lot of people feel like that about a lot of Digimon stuff sometimes, because it's like they start off really good, but like you mentioned, like the 3 pillars of it is novel, trailer, and product, and it was like you're kind of doomed to fail because all you care is about those 3 things. Part of it, like Digimon is known for like having, you know, at least animes, not like live action trailers. So it's kind of cool, right. But at the same time, it's like you give us these snippets and it's like, all right, we want more, but there's nothing more to it. You go read the novel. Well, the novel is poorly translated. So then there's people's like, who cares at this point, you know?
Yeah.
And so it becomes this weird like cycle sometimes they do with certain things when it comes to Digimon. It's like, hopefully, you know, Beat Break comes out, right? Like, hopefully it's just full line straight drive, give us a full 50 episodes, wherever it is, not a Ghost Game style, but like, you know, where we get like an actual story, or you know, you're gonna get the monster of the week in the beginning, because every Digimon show always has that, just to introduce like the stories, the characters and stuff. But man, make a streamlined storyline where people are invested in wanting to watch and continue watching, and then want more, and then you give us more because we want more, right? Like that's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, ideally we'll get the story like not 6 episodes before the end, like Ghost Game.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
It's actually like from the onset.
I you know, people like Ghost Game. If people like Ghost Game, that's great. I think the thing that always kind of annoys me, and it's because it's like a lot of the argument is like Twitter and comment sections and stuff, is the like, well, they always said it was going to be episodic, so you shouldn't have expected a story. And it's like, but they also set up a story,
right? Yeah,
that like
you have.
If you didn't mind that. Yeah,
they give you like little like teases of
Easter
it, like
eggs,
the evil, like the evil side of Gamma. You see it throughout the whole thing, but you don't know why or where this comes from. And then there's like 6 episodes left. And it's like, here's part of a story that doesn't even finish. Great,
right?
I guess I'm gonna read the manga because the manga was a little bit better.
They'll like tease like the Black Digitron or whatever, and it's like, I think. So again, it's a symptom of it's a problem with a lot of Toei productions, and obviously Ghost Game also hit like productions issues because of a hack, I think, in like March that year.
I feel like I remember that, yeah.
But a lot of Toei stuff is written. There's like at the start a rough outline, and then they like pivot depending on audience reaction.
Right.
And I don't know whether that was true for Ghost Game. It might not have been, but they did. Obviously, if the hack delayed production, that means that a lot of it wasn't done by the time that hack happened in like March, and the show started in that October. But that's sometimes what it feels like. Is it feels like they set something up and then either they resolve it in a way that's a little bit unsatisfying, like, oh, they were just like the Black Digitron Digimon were just my friends who were looking out for me. And it's like, well, then why did you tease them every 10 episodes? Yeah. like. That's just you make TV professionally. You must know that's not an interesting payoff. It's not that it's not a payoff, and I will acknowledge people saying, well, at least they answered it. They did answer it. The answer was fucking boring. But like that, and whether you like Ghost Game or not is not really the issue. But it is that thing of like, if you're going to commit to something, commit one way or the other. And I think for me, that's what I didn't enjoy about Ghost Game, is that I was really curious about these things that didn't pay off, and I love Scooby-Doo. I cannot watch 60 episodes of Scooby-Doo and still be like, wow, I love Scooby-Doo. You can only see the guy get chased so many times, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Scott, this is a Digimon podcast, but like on the topic of Scooby-Doo, I also love Scooby-Doo. And like I look at like they had this one series on Cartoon Network. I think it was just called like Mystery Incorporated or something. It was like 2 seasons. It was relatively short, both seasons, but it shirked, all of the monster of the week stuff, and it went with like an actual storyline and like who's the monster that's like behind all of this stuff. Super awesome concept. And I think it was just like ahead of its time, so to say, probably like, it wasn't like an audience of its time type stuff, especially for kids. Like I was an odd kid, so like, sure, I enjoyed it, but might have been something more like younger adults or people like us would enjoy now rather than back then.
Right.
And so I hate that didn't go beyond what it was, because it could have been so much more. But I like that, especially as an adult. I think one of the biggest pluses to take from just the recent Digimon resurgence is the acknowledgement that like we are the Digimon fan.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Kids, we should definitely try to, spread Digimon to the kids, because, that's how we got into it. But there's also an acknowledgement that like, cool, hey, so let's make this Digimon, like Digimon Survive, for example. Like, I would tell kids, go play Digimon Survive. And I know Digimon Survive got, a fair amount of hate for what people were expecting, but I think it told a great story. I think it had some good setup in terms of gameplay. And like, that's a game for us.
Yeah. I mean, it's very clear, I think, so there was this like Digimon reboot project, which is meant to be rebooting the whole franchise, but then it kind of, it's echo start back with Try. I don't think, like, a lot of people are saying like Digimon is like solely for adults now, which I definitely don't think is the case. But I think, again, looking at the success of other Bandai Namco Toei collaborative projects, like, you wouldn't say One Piece is a kids show. Kids can absolutely watch it, and it's not like it's like super dark or anything, but the median age group is like teenagers discovering it for the first time, maybe younger kids discovering it for the first time, and then adults who either watched it like 2 years ago or 10 years ago, Same with Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball, like, there's kids that like it, there's teenagers that like it, and then there's also a bunch of people who are watching, up next time, Frieza defeated, like there's all this, and I think that's what anime in general is almost becoming. Like, when we were kids, I guess, but like it was almost like anything that got to leave Japan was like, that's the kids stuff, that's Pokemon, that's Sailor Moon,
Yep,
and
exactly.
I think now, certainly at least the Western and like English speaking and probably other countries in Europe and like Latin America and stuff, because it has become that 12 to 40 age range now, I think they're allowing that to happen more. And again, mature doesn't have to mean Digimon Survive levels as much as I love Digimon Survive. It just means approaching the fandom in a different way. And I think recognizing that you don't have to do like they did with Digimon Cross Wars, where they like Saban brought it over and tried to like super like basically Power Rangers it, where he's like, it's Digimon Fusion now and Taiki's called Mikey, and
Yeah.
I think the also issue is back then, like us, like the Western Hemisphere especially, looked at anime as like a cartoon show that's meant for kids, right? But JP thinks of anime as probably more all ages, probably more. So that's why you see those categories. Like, Dragon Ball Z. If you see unedited Dragon Ball Z, that's not for kids, right? And obviously they made it more towards kids when they brought it here. And I think we got into the acceptance of anime is more really, like you mentioned, the teenage plus up ages, because realistically, those are probably, I think anime fans are more smarter now. Plus being more mainstream makes it more easier to accept, hey, there's adult storylines in a kids show. You know what I'm saying? It's not really a kids show, but like having that idea, I think that makes it easy for them to be like, all right, Digimon is really meant for, the age group we're in versus kids. Let's make it towards that way where we can have these adult themes, but also certain times it could be lighthearted. That's the cool thing I think I always enjoyed about Digimon. You always have those adult themes, low key kind of, right? But you also have, as a kid, oh look, Agumon's so cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever. Like, you get the mix of both worlds with Digimon versus some others, and I think that's pretty cool that if they're going to go in that direction. If that's the case, the way you make it sound like, then that's good for them. And now I think that will see them succeed more than if they were to go, let's do Digimon Adventure 2020 reboot, and it's supposed to be for kids, and it probably flopped a little for some people because it was supposed to be this new kids trying to bring kids into it, and kids didn't care about it, seemed like, as much.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting when stuff leaves Japan now, because I think like this is why I'm always a little bit of a dub defender, is that you have to consider the environment that it was coming out at the time. Like, for right or wrong, there's just no way where a one-to-one dubbed version of the Japanese Digimon Adventure is getting a coveted slot on Fox Kids, Jetix, whatever it may be, you know? And that is what has changed considerably now, is like, well, admittedly, I don't know why they put Digimon Adventure 2020 on the Microsoft store for some reason, but like, you have streaming options now. They can reach out to us through Twitter accounts and stuff, like YouTube or whatever it may be. So I think that's another thing, is that they know they can communicate much better with an audience that can use those things. So yeah, kids will be able to watch it if it's on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, but also like adult fans are going to have a much, as long as they actually communicate, a much clearer path to what is happening with Digimon, you know?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we covered favorite anime. Do you have a favorite game? I know you said you've played just 2 of them. So
I played a lot more now, but like growing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your favorite game?
So it's Digimon Survive.
Okay, cool.
Warts and all, it's Digimon Survive. So here's my 2 big things about Digimon Survive as to why people don't like it. First one is that they insist that it was marketed as a tactical RPG. It wasn't. It was always marketed as a visual novel with tactical RPG elements.
Correct.
The second one is that it has so much text as a visual novel, people don't like that. Which, like, have we played Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth recently?
Yes, I haven't.
That's basically the same. It's just text with slightly moving 3D. Like, it's the same thing as Survive, and Survive and for much longer, like a considerable longer playtime. The only real difference is that you can run around in the 3D overworld in Cyber Sleuth. I think people have criticism of Cyber Sleuth too. I know people aren't putting it up on a big pedestal, but I do think Survive is like overly hated for what it is, and I think like people have this perception of like, if this thing exists, they're taking my other toys away. So because Survive exists, we're not getting a next Digimon story game, which turns out we were the whole time. Because people don't look into stuff. Like people saying, Survive sold terribly, they'll never do it again. It's one of the best-selling visual novels of all time.
I was about to say,
it's just not true.
I don't know where I looked it up. I don't remember, but I saw something where Digimon Survive was a top 5 all-time selling visual novel game.
For standalone visual novels, like not series like Ace Attorney and stuff, it's like, it sold the same amount of copies as Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, like 500. And they haven't reported sales since 2022. So it sold 500,000 as of December 2022. It could have sold way more by now.
That's crazy. I played through Doki Doki Literature Club.
Crazy.
And
you know, sales don't dictate goodness. I'm mad at the Lilo and Stitch movie, the live action. But I do think that's one of the kind of lies that people peddle, is that, oh, everyone hated it, it didn't sell well. It sold really well. And it was never supposed to be a replacement for a world game or a story game. It was literally conceived to be something we could have because other games were taking too long. I also think narratively it's really interesting. Well, yeah, it suffers from translation at times. I don't think it's as bad as people say. But I really like this idea of like, rather than Adventure 2020, which was like a very obvious reboot, Survive is like, hey, remember the setup to Digimon Adventure? You know, 8 kids went to camp for the summer, wind up living in a digital land. Like, do that, but take it in a much darker way. And like, you can see how these things line up with everyone. And it's if you could never spot the adventure references and still enjoy it for what it is. And then you can kind of appreciate it more. I think it has there's a ton of problems with it. Like, don't get me wrong. The way you have to replay the tactical RPG side is not super engaging, but like, for a first swing at a genre Digimon hasn't done, I think about it the most out of every other Digimon game I've played.
Okay. I started my Survive playthrough. I haven't finished it because I admittedly have a problem finishing games. I have the attention span of a peanut. But in the short time that I was playing through, I mean, I love tactical RPGs. Like Fire Emblem is my jam. One of my favorite of all time.
Yeah,
And
I'm a huge,
sure.
Final Fantasy
You actually can
Tactics
play a hard
guy.
game.
Generational hatred going on.
I'll have you know, Daniel, on the DS, I have played through Final Fantasy. No, I actually played through 3 Emblems on the Switch as well, which is one of my favorite games of all time.
Are you nice enough to beat the Game Boy Advance ones too, or nah?
No.
All right, cool. Let's move on.
But yeah, I mean, like, sure, like, I agree. It has some deficiencies, but I think there's like I feel like places don't get cut. And when I say places, I mean like studios or companies and whatnot. They don't get cut enough slack nowadays. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. They get murdered for everything.
Ways, but it's like, oh, Digimon Survive came out. To what you said, it's like, this is the first time that this has been in this very like niche genre that they decided to explore and do this. And for what it's worth, I mean, we got a fairly good story. It was on a smaller budget that got cut in the middle of development. They had to redevelop it and they switched the game engine.
That was during COVID when all that happened.
And it was during COVID.
That was a rough stretch for it.
And that's not to say that anyone has to like Digimon Survive, but I do think a lot of the hatred, or like a lot of like it's not even hatred because I think people don't really care that much, but the people who don't like it, when someone's played through it or even tried to play it once and doesn't like it, totally fine. But it's when people who've not even touched it or were like, oh, I played for 10 minutes and there was no Digimon or whatever, even though there's literally Digimon in the first 5 minutes. It's like you're finding honest reasons to critique this, especially when it comes to like the marketing was misleading or, why was it not this? And it's like, well, it was never supposed to be that.
Yeah, we've had discussions about the game in our Discord for that we host, and I knew after a while I realized some of these people were people who played it for all of like 20 minutes. I'm just like, did you even give the game a try? As someone who's beaten it a couple times through, like, have you actually sit down to like play the game? You're critiquing something that wasn't like you haven't put your hands on it, like, and that I think that's not fair to that game because that game you need to put your hands on it, take a couple hours. Play, learn who the characters are, and so on. And if a visual story is not your type of thing, that's fine, that's cool and all. But like, don't judge the game without actually putting the time and effort in playing it.
I think it's fair to play like 20 minutes and go, I'm just not clicking with this, and then just be like, personally, I'm not into it. But to go, I play 20 minutes of this game, it sucks ass. It's like,
that's what kills me. That's what kills me about it.
All right, now this could be complete blasphemy. But this is coming from someone who, when I saw the trailers, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so hyped for this. And then I got completely and utterly let down. And I know a lot of people feel differently about this over the internet. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say, Karn. Digimon Adventure Try.
Yes. Well, it certainly came out.
I love it. But at the same time, it feels like such a big let.
So like I say, Try is basically the reason I make Digimon YouTube inadvertently. Like Try leading into Kizuna is, I think one of the first videos I ever made about Digimon was about Kizuna and whether the epilogue is still canon. Try, first of all, they're fucking lucky that they did Kizuna and 02 at the beginning and brought the 02 kids back, because that was my first thing about Try, was they were like, oh, 02? Fuck them kids.
They got bodied off the bat. What do you mean they got bodied off the bat? That's crazy.
And never talked about ever again.
It is, and like, especially with how like set up for great, like at the end of Revenge of Diaboromon, Imperial Ultramon gets the power of Omnimon, right? Like he's already strong as shit and then becomes Paladin mode. It genuinely be like if in like Space Jam 3, like LeBron got bodied and old ass Michael Jordan came back. Like, it makes no fucking sense at all.
Hey, I can see that happening though. That's a thing.
Yeah, it probably could happen. And I'd still be like, oh god damn it. But like, so like that frustrated me, and I was like, okay, listen, that's me being a little bitch baby who loves 02. I can look after that. The problem then for me became, I found that they like undid a lot of the characterization of the characters, especially Matt and Tai. Them becoming like fighting all over again for like something that was like resolved over and over again in both Adventure and Zero Two. And then adventure movies, and once you realize this, you can't unsee it. Adventure movies love just introducing some fucking kid you don't care about. And they succeeded once with Willis and never again. We got Willis and it's like, this kid rocks. Love Willis. Okay, now we got Mako. Fuck Mako. Now we got Manoa. Fuck Manoa. And now we got fuck Louie. I don't care about any of these kids. Sorry, Louie. I know some bad shit happened to you, but like I'm here for the kids I like. I don't care about this random this girl. And you know, Mako as a character is fine. Mekumon is very cute. I didn't need all that. It could have been, the focus could have been different, I guess. Especially when there's so much stuff from Adventure in Zero Two that wasn't resolved and still isn't resolved. Yeah. So I like Try for like the fights. I can't even say I really like the animation style that much. And I think now that we have Kizuna in Zero Two at the beginning, it stings a little bit less with the Zero Two kids. But yeah, Try is like, oh my god, I'm back. It's so over, you know, like all in one anime.
Yeah, for real. So I remember when Try was coming out, I remember like hearing about it, and they were like, it was like this really big thing because it was like, Digimon Adventure Try. We're going back to adventure, baby. And I'm like, wow. And it's gonna be them as like teenagers, like, wow. I'm a teenager.
Like, I guess
young adults. Sorry,
no,
yeah, young adults.
Try, they're still in. It's Kizuna they go to college. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, because Joe was studying.
Yeah.
Joe was studying for school, and that's why he said, "Gomamon, skirt." I'll never forget that, Joe.
Oh my god, that's another thing.
Like
crazy.
I'll get there, but I was at the time. I was like, "This is awesome! I am so excited for this." So, however, it was supposed to be given to us, we were gonna get Digimon Adventure Try, and it came out, and then like I feel like one of the first big problems is that like it came out as like a movie, and then you waited like a fair bit of time until
a lot of time
the next iteration, and it just, the hype dies off with like every iteration because it's like, all right, nice, and then you watch it, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'll wait to see what happens. And then you just keep going, and it's just like, okay, like where are we going with this?
Especially when Try started off so fire with the Omni versus Alpha fight, and it was just like that fight was goated, and then like it just not that it's downhill, but man, it started off so high, and everything else couldn't reach back up to there until we get like Mercy mode, and that was for like all of 10 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't like merciful mode that much. Like, it's fine. It's like it's very whatever. Like the moment is very cool, but like the actual form, I'm like Omnimon but even whiter. Cool. Great. That's the thing for me. That first teaser where it's like Tai and Agumon on the hill or whatever it is, and like it's like Tai Chi or whatever, it's been so long, and then like the new like the re-edited version of Butterfly comes up, and you're like, oh my god, that is honestly the best experience I had with Try. Like everything else, the actual things coming out. Like,
so I think they have, there's some like good character plot points, but it's like at least for me, I think there is. Like I think seeing like Ty's growth as a human, like, all right, now he's understanding that there's consequences to his actions, and that's why he became like the way he was. And then, but you had the opposite side with Mad, where Mad would like flip the switch. It was like, F this. Who cares if the world burns? We need to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was such a weird aspect on Matt's side. But you see like the character development, like how they got older, how they're taking life or whatever, right? What life's giving them, yada yada yada, right? But then there's certain like questions that leaves to be answered that doesn't get answered, right? Throughout the whole thing. Like the original Digidestins, it was like kind of like left for us to figure out on our own, I guess. Well, like you tell me this Tapermon might have been a Zulomon. You telling me these four these four Digimon, these four tamers Digimon potentially became the Zulamon, the four sovereigns.
The sovereigns, yeah.
And
well, so they definitely
there's no payoff to that, because I thought that was a great point. I thought that was great that we were getting there, and then it just doesn't get there.
Yeah, I mean, they show them, like, they show their evolution and stuff, and they become the sovereign, and then it's like, okay, well, that's what happened. I think the problem is that whoever was, because it's not Kondo, I think his name, I can't remember. No, Kakudo, who made the original adventure, I think he stepped aside.
Yeah.
He only really came back for Beyond. I think whoever it was must have just been obsessed with the idea of the tease of the original Digidestined and adventure. Because, like, no one gave that much of a fuck about them. Like, it was a cool thing, but I would have much preferred, like, the Dark Ocean be resolved, you know? Like, something that they threw into Tri for half an hour to get rid of Maki. And then we're like, all right, that's all you're getting. Who's Dark Jedi?
Yeah.
That was crazy. I was like, wait, this isn't like Jedi, right?
The evil...
This can't be Jedi.
The evil Imperial fighter mode that we don't get nothing about either.
We're going to go 2 movies and just never address it. They're going to do all of Tri, all of Kizuna, all of Zero to the beginning, and no one's even going to bring it up once.
Nobody questions it. Yeah, I guess that happened.
Yeah. There's just an evil version of this guy we trust running around. Sure. That's fine. That woman went to the place where Kari went that one time and had a traumatic experience with a rocket launcher. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah. The 02 kids have all got bodied. They'll just walk back in Kizuna. It's fine.
It's nothing. Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah. Yggdrasil reboots everything. Not quite. Got ya. But we're going to bring back some motherfuckers just in case.
Yeah.
It's it feels like one of those projects that development had. Like, I feel like there's probably a point
stuck
where it wasn't even movies, it was a series, and it just kind of became this thing where they were like, okay, we can make it into a movie, we can, and then that's
so. It felt like maybe there was like different producers or something on each set, because it was like, why was everything so like same but different? Like, it was like what they did with like Star Wars, right? 7, 8, 9. It was different. It was different directors, right, for each one. Like, that's what I felt like the Tri series was like. It wasn't no cohesive like thought process or something where like, all right, we're gonna start here and we're gonna get here, but like they went all over the place for no reason.
Where we start. Here's where we end.
There's so many. I don't know. It's just so weird sometimes when it comes to Tri. Like, great thing about Tri, everybody got their megas. I guess cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think that's probably the only thing that I really liked more about Adventure 2020 is that, like, I think it would have been cool in Tri if we'd have seen more alternate evolutions for everyone. Yeah. Like how Adventure 2020 had like Blitz Greymon and stuff for Agumon. But again, like, I love Digivolution, and I think it's so key. That's like one of the things I didn't like about 02 at the beginning is we didn't really get any new evolutions for anyone apart from Ukomon. And that big Ukomon, what a good TCG card, man. Well, that paid off so well. Wasn't it worth it?
Ass card.
But like, yeah, I think at least if it had had something more, like, yeah, it was cool to see everyone become their megas for the first time, but yeah, I couldn't even really be like the hype moments with that hype apart from that Alphamon and Omnimon fight, you know?
I feel like at one point, I was corrected on this, but I'd always had the headcanon that Tri was originally supposed to be a series that got switched into being a movie. And I don't remember where I had remembered reading that from, if it was like the site that like I saw the news on or whatever. And like I said, like, so I know somebody's about to pop in the comments, Barney, no, you're wrong. This was definitely supposed to be a concept and it's just a movie. And I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
But my headcanon was that this was supposed to be a series or something. And then it switched to movies, but not just like TV movies, like movie, but then it got switched to TV movies, digestible air quote TV movies. And I was like, okay, I guess that's fine. But
yeah,
like,
I mean, I did they get theatrical releases in Japan?
They did, yeah.
Maybe that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of stuff is always speculation with stuff that we're not privy to. And maybe, you know, somewhere website did say series, but by series they meant a series of movies or whatever. But I also am sure at one point or the other I either assumed or read someone say it was going to be a series, and I think that might have been better, because if the first movie's like 90 minutes or whatever, if you could air that weekly, you'd probably catch up to the second movie of story by the time you'd done that. And rather than leaving these big gaps, you know, and it's like, it's not
and
like
also flush it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it felt like it was in a rush and also too slow simultaneously.
Like, so I've always been a Matt hater.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I've always been a Matt hater. I never cared for Matt since day one when he said to Gobblem, like Gobblem was like, Matt, it's okay, and Matt was like, nah, fuck you, Gobblemon. I was like, no, stop,
chill.
Gobblemon's looking out for you, bro. Like, he's a G. So like, I've always been a Matt hater since frame one. So when we come to the movie and you see the growth of the boy Taichi, and he's like, yeah, man, like this is crazy. Like, Mans is going through I'm like crisis as a teenager. He's like, man, I can't believe, like, if we deal with this, how many people are gonna die? And Matt's like, what are you talking about? Who cares how many people die? We gotta defeat it. It's like, I love the growth of Taichi, but I don't understand. Well, I mean, like I said, Matt's always been a bitch.
Right.
So but even was in line.
Like, I like Matt, but I think the problem with Taichi's growth is that it was at odds with Matt's growth, and they had historically grown better together.
That is true.
It felt like they sacrificed some of Matt's growth to create this beef again, which, like, and again, so this is the good thing about, like, hindsight being 2020, is now we do have Kizuna and we do have 02 at the beginning. So, like, I'm not mad about the 02 kids anymore. I'm not mad about Matt and Ty's friendship because they're all buddied up again in Kizuna. So a lot of that in the moment got me very heated about Tri. It's kind of old wounds now. It's kind of done. It doesn't
That's fair
me anymore. So I think I have less hatred in my heart for Tri. But at the time, dude, if I'd have had a prominent Twitter account, people would have been mad at me. if I was where I am now when Tri first came out, there would have been, this motherfucker. I'd just go to my big rants about how awful Tri was, you know? And even I now would have looked back and gone, it's not that bad, bro. it's fine. Like, it's okay.
All right. So admittedly, I haven't watched Kizuna just yet.
Okay. Oh my God, I hate this guy. How have you not seen it? We can do this already.
It's on my list, okay? I will get there. I haven't seen it. I will.
Right. So we'll talk about it real quick. Who cares if it's spoiled to you, right?
I already basically know everything that happened.
Yeah.
So
here's my issue with 02 movie. The 02 movie,
I watched that.
Throws off what happens to Kizuna, I feel like.
Well, so it sort of does, right? Because there's this implication of, like,
they come back.
Another reboot, right? But then, like, so I just don't get me wrong. Cried my eyes out at the end of Kizuna.
Oh my God.
You know, like,
I was in tears. I
just don't get why they did it. Like, other than to make you cry. Because first of all, the movie's title is a lie. Last Adventure, Last Evolution Kizuna. We got another movie. So that's a fucking lie. And again, everyone has kept insisting that the 02 epilogue exists, which means, like, I cried and then went, oh, hold on.
Like, Bandai confirmed that, I don't know if you saw, they did a timeline thing. They dropped the timeline. And at the very end of that timeline is the very ending of 02. So it's like, how does what happens to Kizuna get to the point of there? And then you have the stupid 02 movie. I mean, it's not stupid. I think I have a weird, like, hatred for the 02 movie because of Ukumon. Because I think the Ukumon story is, to me, it was just so stupid bug-eye freak ass Digimon. I hate it.
Way too much.
It just, like, throws off, like, I guess because I guess you could say a Digimon purist or whatever you want to call it, but, like, that timeline of where Ukumon Louie happens is just so weird, because then it's like, if they had to consider the first Digidestined, what happened to the ones with Maki with the Tapermon? They're supposed to be the first Digimon tamers, whatever you want to call it. And then that happens. So where's the timeline of everything that happened that we just talked about? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just such a weird thing that happens.
It's even Kizuna and 02 at the beginning are just, like, almost needlessly convoluted when they didn't have to be. Like, they introduced elements that they didn't need to didn't need to add, especially like the Digimon going away at the end of Kizuna, and then the whole time shit. Also, like, if you're gonna do time travel in adventure, what about the lamest fucking way you could have implemented it? Like, you could have had like Tai teaming up with you could have done Into the Taichi verse. You could have had like 3 ages of Tai, all DNA digivolving their War Greymon to super hyper War Greymon, you know? Like, you could have done anything. You're like, what if we went back in time and saw horrific things happening to a child? Thanks, Digimon. Thanks. Wow. I feel great now.
Let's watch child abuse and be okay with it. Like,
yeah, awesome, man. That's great.
Let's watch Ukamon kill his parents low key and like, you know, think everything's okay. Cause that's fine. Like, I swear to this day, Varney thinks otherwise. Ukamon's a villain. I don't care what anyone says. That thing is gonna be a villain somehow, and it's gonna be a problem down the line.
Here's my headcanon. Ukomon is just as much of a child, if not an even bigger child than Louis.
Sure.
So he has no concept of good or bad outside of this makes Louis feel bad. I gotta fix it. And how do I fix it? The most rudimentary solution is to remove it. Therefore, by Louis' parents.
And
now, of course, Louis doesn't like that.
Hey, yo, Agumon was never going to kill someone, Ty's parents. I'm just saying.
Agumon was a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, I think it's a specific thing for Ukamon as well, because like if you think about it, like if he's supposed to be like one of the original Digimon to have a partner with a human, even though he's not, he has that like almost like I don't like you know when like the first girlfriend you ever had or first boyfriend or whatever, like you don't know like how to navigate this. This is your first time doing this when you're like a kid or whatever, or like you know your first time doing a job when you're like 16 or whatever, getting an actual job for the first time. You're like, holy shit, this is way more going on than I ever anticipated. And I feel like that's what Ukamon is a kid having a brother for the first time, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And even his evolution is childlike, because what can he picture? What can his data even conceive to be? Bigger Ukamon. You know, like that's as far as his scope of imagination can be, because it's his first day here. He just got here. So I think that works, but also like, yeah.
The only reason why I keep saying I think we're gonna find it down the line they're gonna have to like fight him or some shit, is because like he mentions about someone else telling him to do certain things or whatever. Like he mentions like an ancient god or something like that he like works for or whatever. So to me, like anytime in Digimon talks about that and in that aspect in like a secretive way, it's always nothing good. It's never good that comes about it. So like that's what I think of it as, and that's why he did what he did. But like again, he's a child, I guess, child-esque like, so he doesn't understand what he's doing, but he knows he's doing something in a weird way. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like
I do wonder if this is going to lead to something. Just a real quick thing. I do wonder if they are going to get another movie where it's like Dark Jedi is going to be the same, is going to be in servitude to the same thing as Ukomon or whatever. Like, or are we just going to get an Avengers Endgame where it's like, all right, here's all the good guys, here's all the bad guys, let's all fight, done. Like that's your adventure movie.
All right, so more headcanon on the Ukomon lore. Editor, I need you to throw this up on the screen. BT18 Lucimon. So, card game art. First of all, I mean, of course, the card game art.
Oh, with the Ukomon in the background.
I also feel like card game art doesn't just put Digimon in the background just to put Digimon in the background. You know.
True.
So, BT18 Lucimon, we have an Ukomon just chilling there with Lucimon. Now, as we all know, Lucimon ends up becoming Chaos Mode at some point, becomes Satan Mode. Yada yada, whatever. How does this play with Ukomon? Where does Ukomon factor?
Aren't they both considered like ancient fairies or something like that? Ancient something?
Yeah, they're both like ancient, right? So it's like, does Ukomon, you know, in all of his rudimentary kidness, does he see this path of Lucimon and he's like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna follow Lucimon because, you know, it's Lucimon, right? Like, why wouldn't you follow Lucimon? And this is how we end up down the path. Of course, we would never know without any sort of extended universe explanation. But like, the card art tells a story. Is it a story that we will see concluded at some point? I hope.
So, I think that's a really good idea. First of all, because if you think about Tri is kind of like them looking at the lore of the X antibody, with Yggdrasil making the X antibody, Alphamon kind of being prominent, like Dorumon being prominent in that story. If you look at Mako's Digivice, when Makumon's acting all weird, it's an X shape in the display. So it's almost like they kind of looked at some of the X antibody storyline and went, we'll do a little bit of that. So I think it would be interesting if Lucemon became, like, rather than being the big Frontier threat, they kind of adapted some of those elements. And obviously we had Cherubimon in Frontier, so like that could be an adventure thing going on there. And it turns out the reason, blah, 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 it was all Lucemon. But my only counter to that is that Ukomon also showed up in Digimon Liberator in Sanctuary, and Lucemon is a partner in Liberator and probably was in Sanctuary. So it could just be a Liberator reference, unfortunately, but it would be sick. It would be sick.
It would be. It would be. And especially if they bring it together. But, you know.
Who knows?
Who will know?
This is the problem of being a fan.
Yeah, because we also got the little like 10-minute music trailer that shows Aether, and guess what? They got their Digimon back again. Where is this in the timeline?
I don't think he said this outright.
I think it was awesome too. I think that thing was beautiful. It
beyond
was
sick. The bit where all like the armors show up side by side and stuff, and like I don't like Buchimon. Buchimon showed up, and I was like, I think his name's Kakado, but I might be butchering that. But he was the guy that oversaw a lot of adventure and then stepped away for a while. I think he literally just came back to go like, nah, fuck all that shit you guys were doing. Try on with there. Nah, this is what I would do, and then just went, all right, bye. Because it's so much of it doesn't line up with stuff that we know it happened. You know. I don't know. I'm sort of happy. Like, I know they're always gonna milk adventure, and I'm happy that I'm not one of those people that get super mad about it. But I hope for a little bit, maybe we just stop animating it and focus on beat break, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Or at least if you're going to animate it, can you finally just like O2 like retconned essentially, like it was because it's O2, right? The O2 at the beginning, like it was essentially a big retcon, right? Not a necessarily good retcon, but it retconned a lot of stuff. So like if we're going to retcon stuff, can we finally just have something that is a series and it's definitive and says, this is where we're moving forward. You can forget X, Y, and Z thing that happened. This is canonical.
Yeah, like I don't mind when media does that in pursuit of a better in pursuit of a better story. So like when the new Halloween movies came out, they were like, right, this is a sequel to like Halloween 2 or whatever it was. Like the rest of it didn't happen. And not that I would want them maybe to do that with Digimon, because I feel like almost like they've made their bed and they've lied in it. But I do think it would be nice if they were just like, here's just more cohesion going forward, you know, or just be like, okay, so maybe Genai was wrong about a thing, so maybe other people can armor Digivolve. You know, you can rewrite stuff too, or maybe this thing was in service of this. I think a good example, actually, it's not Digimon. Do you guys watch Dexter by any chance?
Yes, I see some of it. I watched up until maybe like season 7.
Right.
So I haven't seen New Blood.
So like 6, 7, and 8 of Dexter, character assassination up the asshole. Like it just goes off the deep end.
Is that sorry, Dexter fan. If you want to watch Dexter, you haven't, skip ahead a little bit, just a touch. Is that after Rita died?
After Rita died. Rita's death, I think it is good. I think it works. I think with the Trinity Killer is like one of the last really great seasons with the guy from Third Rock from the Sun. But it's when like they start, like it's just comical ways he's getting away with being the Bay Harbor Butcher, and like his sister dies, and like it's very like unnecessary things going on. And then they did New Blood, which is kind of like I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's kind of like Dexter Try, right? Where it's like, we're bringing the gang back. We've got some of the people, but not all the people. We're going to tweak some few things. We're going to kind of do like this new story that's a little bit darker, and less funny, and kind of, and then the ending of that kind of pissed everyone off too. So they got an ending that pissed people off again. So now they're doing Dexter Resurrection, and they're not retconning anything, but they're doing a much better job at like bringing back characters that should have been in New Blood. They're like elements that people didn't like Dexter's kid from New Blood. They're now making like an actually enjoyable character in this show. And I think that's what Digimon might need, is someone to sit down and go, okay, what did we fuck up on? And what did people like? If we're going to do an adventure thing going forward, let's combine those things. Like, yeah, okay, it was fine that we introduced Dark Jedi. Let's actually make him useful. Let's do something, like maybe Dark Jedi is a thing. Like, it was a lie. It wasn't to do with age. This whole weird fucking lie, like reason that the Digimon disappear is because of age. It's actually Dark Jedi and Lucamon created a virus that kills Digimon after a certain time or whatever. Like, you can rewrite to that extent of just like, your characters believe something to be true, but it might have actually not been the case. And that's maybe where they could kind of,
yeah, you could tie together loose ends and make it a better cohesive story by doing something like that for sure. That's what I hope they eventually do.
Yeah, and with Dexter as the example, it's like you can do that without undoing stuff that you've done, but you can tweak it so that it works a little better going forward.
Yeah, that's fair. And I would appreciate that, especially considering that how do we have so much time to make this 10-minute video and y'all can't just concept it and give us something more? I know you read the Twitter, Bandai. I know you read it. We need more.
Yeah. I think I'd also, and I understand why specifically with animation, it's so much more of a risk. I'd love some other seasons to get this kind of love. I really,
for sure.
Like,
yeah,
it does suck because I do like, I mean, you know, like I said, like I like Savers, and I know they all made their big like comeback in
Cross Wars
across Hunters Across Time or whatever it was, which was cool to see, you know, like I wasn't even watching
tags. That's all it was.
Well, sure, it was just the main pro tags, but it was still cool to see because like I wasn't watching Digimon at the time. I kind of knew it was out, but I also didn't because that wasn't the season that was dubbed over here because we'd only gotten, I think, like the first 2 seasons and then they stopped.
Yeah,
but I saw when that came out and I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All the pro tags are back in one series.
I want to say something, but it's not like I have inside information. Don't get it that way. I have a video cooking, which like, it's the most tinfoil hat I've had since probably before Survive was coming out. If I'm right, get used to that feeling during Beat Break. I won't say more. Subscribe to... No, I'm just kidding. I won't say more.
Please do.
But no, it's fine. Don't worry. I won't say more, but there's some stuff about Beat Break that is making me suspicious that we are going to get crossover content. But I could be completely wrong.
Okay. I am excited for Beat Break. I mean, I know we haven't seen like much of it outside of Mickey Mouse shoes.
The cute little ugly gecko.
Isn't it interesting how little we are seeing about this? We still only have literally 2 images.
3 months?
Well, yeah, 3 months to go. Oh yeah, August, September, October. So like, yeah. So, but we also currently, and the anime is 3 months away. It's been announced for months. We have 2 pieces of art, and one of them is that shitty piece of art of Gekomon from the calendar. Basically, every other piece of art is just a re-edited version of that same picture of one kid and one Digimon.
Yep.
Ghost Game had like
with Kingdom Hearts shoes.
Yeah, and his big round glasses.
Yeah.
This like unprecedented for a Digimon season. Like, first of all, we've never had a Digimon season start with just one kid. The lowest is 3.
Yeah.
We've never had that happen. Like, even Ghost Game, even Tamers, the promotional material all started with the 3 kids, and then I mean Ghost Game's roster didn't really grow, but Tamers did. They're not showing anything until September at Digimon Expo in Tokyo. That's like the first episode. I mean, they might show more stuff until, but they're showing the first episode there in September. It just makes me feel like there is a huge secret in the show because they are being so lax. Like, they're marketing the hell out of it using assets that don't spoil anything. And I think that's very interesting. I think that could mean something big.
I agree. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I'm excited for any new Digimon piece of media that we get.
Yeah.
So I'm more excited to just see a new exploration of an anime. If they do stick with one kid, again, the entire idea of like how Frontier was doing it where it's just like, all right, here's a new concept and we're rocking it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, I mean, even if it's not some sort of like anniversary crossover thing, it would be very cool. Do you guys watch any like Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, that kind of thing?
I know, I heard enough about it from
yeah. So like a lot of Kamen Rider seasons, like it's the main guy, and then he will like fight or meet other riders. And I think it'd be interesting if a Digimon season was almost like there was plans for the original version of Frontier was going to be like a big Dragon Ball Z tournament arc. That was like the whole plan. It was all going to be like fighting in this big dome, and that's why like they became the Digimon. It was almost like kind of like how like Yu-Gi-Oh! You play the cards and like the holograms kind of project or whatever. I think it'd be really interesting if this whole season, like there's like 100 Digidestined or 100 Tamers, but they're not, or kind of like Crosswords did it with the army. Sort of yeah, they're like there's not like it's like street kids on the streets, like going around, you know, like and maybe there's factions like Crosswords, but like it's very much more like instead of battling monsters of the week, you're battling Tamer of the week. And I think that would be such a cool concept to explore as well. And again, they kind of did that in Cross Wars to an extent, but that was more like armies. I'm thinking more kind of like street level, you know, Daredevil kind of shit.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we've got the favorite anime, the favorite game. Have you read much of the manga?
Yeah, I've read a fair chunk of manga. I think for me, it's always going to come down to V-Tamer.
V-Tamer,
because
I agree.
Yeah, just I think it's like an actual satisfying read. I think there's really cool stuff about Cross Wars, the manga, and there's really cool stuff about the Atmon manga. But I feel like I wasn't like tearing through them like I was V-Tamer. And I think V-Tamer is also the one that I champion the most for, because it feels like it's almost like they could do so much more with this thing. Like it could have been an anime, it could have been a one-off movie, it could have you know, like I say, the joke is always into the Taichi verse. Like you could have Taichi meet, like he's met various versions of himself and like Davis and stuff in V-Tamer. They have crossovers, so like it would be so sick to see V-Tamer Taichi show up in an anime or show up in like a movie or like in the Cross Wars crossover episode. That would have been so good to have that version. Like they're like Taichi again. It's like, oh no, I'm the original. Like I'm V-Tamer 01 Taichi. I got the cape, you know. So I think that's why I'm always kind of like bummed. But my sleeper favorite is technically the first ever Digimon story, which is Come On Digimon. Which is like there's I don't know, are you familiar with Come On Digimon? Have you seen Come On?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
So it's a manga prior to V-Tamer. Like it was kind of like in the run when Digital Monster was first launching, kind of thing. And it's much shorter. It's only it's like a one shot basically. But it's got like really interesting foundational stuff. Like the main character, you can see how he becomes Taichi. He's got like a shorter nerd friend who like is so translated to Izzy in the future. There's like this evil kid who like weirdly sets up Neo in V-Tamer, but could also, you can see his DNA leading into like the Digimon Emperor in 02. And then technically there's also a story before that too, but it was like an instruction manual manga. It's not quite the same. But yeah, Come On Digimon also has this weird little freak called Bun, who is his partner, and its gimmick is it doesn't digivolve. It's just like a little Koromon type looking guy, and it just never digivolves. And I think that's such a fascinating idea for like a character, like because in V-Tamer we have kind of the opposite, where V-Dramon is just so strong and then digivolves a bunch of times, but just Bun just being this little guy, and I think his name's Kentaro, just having to be like, all right, this is my partner now, I guess. Let's fight with this guy. Yeah, I think overall V-Tamer is my favorite.
Dan's a really big champion for V-Tamer.
It's good. It is good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Dan, would you say Ulforce is your favorite Digimon of all time?
No.
Oh.
What a shame. What a shame. You have disgraced the V-Tamer.
No, it's just really good.
Karn, what would you say is your favorite Digimon of all time? Or if that's too hard, give me your top 3.
Yeah, it's the $1 million question, really. Yeah, so who my partner would be Fanbeamon. Like that's who I'd choose as my partner. And I don't know what route it would go, but I definitely, Canon Beamon is like probably my favorite in its evolution line. So the bees, just put the bees, the royal base, put those in a slot. Paildramon's my favorite Ultimate and DNA Digivolution. Like specifically Pyeldramon, I'm not as big on Imperialdramon, so he'd probably take a spot on the Mount Rushmore. And then a third gets really tough. It's so hard. It's like, it's also weird because there's Digimon that I used to adore because I championed for them and now they've gotten love. Like Bluecomon was so unknown when not unknown, but like way less represented when I first started making videos, and now it's like become huge. So like Bluecomon would have been there for a while, but I feel like because he's gotten more love, I'm always like, good job, friend. You go sit over there. So I really don't. God, it's so tough. Do you know what? I'm just gonna say this because I'm famous on the Pokemon side of things. I love cute little baby Pokemon. I'm just gonna put Shumon in there. Fuck it. Shumon's in the top. I want to put Hyokamon. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, where's Hyokamon?" I like Hyokamon. I just think it deserves more love. I wouldn't put it, top 3. So yeah, let's just say Shumon. Fuck it.
I used to like Guilmon a lot. Guilmon was like my favorite Digimon ever. And I don't know. I guess like when I started playing the card game, everybody loved Guilmon. And I was like, I don't think I like you anymore.
That's another huge factor in why I've gone off Bluecomon is Hexablaumon was the reason I stopped playing. I stopped playing for a while. I loved Hexablaumon. Design's amazing. But dealing with that blue bullshit in BT 5, 6, whatever it was, I think it's because I was truly trying to make Eosmon happen. I was determined there was a way.
That's why.
And I just kept getting bounced back with Hexablaumon, and I was like, you know what, fuck this game, and fuck Hexablaumon too.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Like, I guess, no, that's a lie. My favorite Digimon right now is Tyrannomon. I don't know why. It's a dino, and it was my first Digievolution in Survive. And I'm just like, yeah, Tyrannomon, because Dino, and then we had around that same time I got Tyrannomon, they revealed Dinomon, and I was like,
gonna say, how are you feeling about Dinomon? Because I think it's really cool.
It's Godzilla.
Fantastic, cool.
Digi Godzilla, and it's so awesome, and I love everything about it. I don't love what they've done in the card game for it necessarily, but I love the design, and I love everything about Tyrannomon.
I love what Liberated did for those old school Digimon that had like no real evolution lines or anything like that, and made them and gave them their own identity. Because obviously Tyrannomon always had like Rust Tyrannomon, you go Metal Tyrannomon, but there was no Tyranno to Master, and then that was it. It was like, all right, what's Master's I think it's
Mega. I think Liberated.
I love how they did that.
Yeah, I think it's something I'd like to see in like an anime as well.
Yeah,
is like not just having to have new Digimon all the time, but being like this. I mean, I guess they kind of did it with Agumon 2006, but like give someone like a Kunemon in the anime and then give it a whole new line, from Flymon or whatever.
Yeah, they give Frigimon a whole like canonical line. They gave stuff like that, because a lot of old school Digimon, they were just a champion and that was it, and then you just never knew. Like they gave it. I mean, you had your canonical lines of what if they go somewhere else, But like it was never, you got Agu Gray, Metal Gray, War Gray. That's the canonical line, because obviously Digimon could go wherever, branch into wherever. Yeah. But like it was just so cool to see. So that's why I love the Liberator. It was like seeing those old school Digimon, giving them new life, new perspective for like newer fans too. Because some people don't know about what they were back then, or like irrelevant Digimon, quote unquote. And it's just cool to see that. Who else they gave a line to? I was like surprised too.
Honestly, Impmon getting the like Guilmon inspired line, I think is very cool.
That was crazy. That was like shows how Impmon sees Guilmon type shit. It was like crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I think also it's cool that they do that, but in a way that like, because again, I really like anime style like 1 through cohesive line, and I also love branching craziness and trying to find little reasons why a Digimon could become this or whatever. So I like how in Liberator, like we're getting the level 7s now for everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they all feel like they're on theme, but a complete twist. Like Nyabootmon versus Sendromon, like it works to the Shumon fairy tale theme, but also is completely different. It's very Digimon. Ariamon for the Shellmon evolution line, which went very like big and slug and dragon and like dragon, and then quickly pivots to like this feminine, like kind of water goddess. I think that's such a cool idea for like, you're still doing that anime style thing, but going like, no, this is Digimon. Like we are, data can go crazy here.
The running joke right now is because they're very like Disney themed. That what's called the green one, Terramon's line. Yeah. So Savaga, he's gonna turn to Donald Duck.
So what about you, Dan? What's your favorite Digimon?
Mine, I'm a classic War Greymon to the day I die. I love Agumon and all of Agumon. So
that's what. Honestly, I don't have any problem with anyone's favorite Digimon now. When I was growing up on like Digimon forums and stuff, it used to piss me off how many people would pick Dorumon, because it was. The thing is, I will respect an Agumon pick or a Gabumon pick because I know you actually like that, because you could have at any point picked something completely random. But it was so many people who like discovered Dorumon, and this is hater behavior. There is no logic or sincerity in my heart about this anymore. But when I was on those forums and I saw every motherfucker had to have Dorumon because he was perceived as the cooler, like edgy one. He's got the X antibody. He can death Digimon. My partner's a Dorumon. And I was like, oh my God. It's
so funny.
That was so prevalent in the day. What's the equivalent now is anytime you bring up Digimon the movie, it's like clockwork. Did you guys know it's actually 3 movies combined into one? Were you aware of that? Did you know it's 3 movies? Yeah. Have I told you yet? Did you know? Are you an idiot and you didn't know that it's 3 movies combined into one? Sorry, I know you're talking about the soundtrack right now, but it's crazy that they took 3 movies. I know. We all know.
We definitely had some people, especially when you talk about Digimon the movie. And for me, I saw as a kid, my mom had rented out movie theaters for my birthday. We saw me and my friends and everything. Like, the movie is goated to me. I don't care what anyone says. And then you have the people that were ruined it for me, because I talked about Digimon the movie and be like, oh, it's 3 movies. It's not as good. I'm like, I don't care. I know it is. I've seen them separately.
Yeah. It's not even about,
will forever be in my heart.
Yeah, it's not even about sub versus dub. It's not like, I think Digimon movie is better than the 3. It's just the fact that people can't stop fucking bringing it up. Like it's the Aragorn kicking the helmet. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Whenever you watch Lord of the Rings with someone, they have to tell you, when Aragorn kicked the helmet in this scene, he broke his toe. It's like it's the most basic like film knowledge. Like, and it's that for Digimon.
I get it.
Yeah, no matter what you say about Digimon the movie, someone's going to go, well, for a movie that's actually 3 movies coupled together, it's like, yeah, I know.
Oh,
I think, so on the topic of like favorite Digimon, I actually think like Tyrannomon ends up being my favorite Digimon because I do really like Agumon a lot. But I think what I like more about Agumon is that he has so many different canonical evolution lines.
Sure.
Because it's Agumon. Like, it's like VPAT, 1, so to say. So he digivolves into Machine Dramon, and he digivolves into War Grey, and this Digimon, and that Digimon. And so it makes me, it tickles the little fancy in my heart that's like, yeah, I like Agumon, but I like Agumon because I like Tyrannomon.
Yeah.
And now I'm not like everybody where I like Guillemon.
Yeah. Sure.
Because Guillemon becomes Gallantmon.
Yeah. But then I also am now. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I'm also at the point now where I'm 31 years. I was realizing this when everyone was going crazy about Mega Dragonite the other day. I realized I'm 31 years old, and like, unless you're coming to my doorstep telling me some shit that I don't want to hear about, I don't care what people think about fictional media designed to sell products. So it's like, you know what? If you like Doraemon these days,
right,
love you. Have a great time.
We are not the forum warriors we used to be.
Yeah,
real quick. What do you think about the Mega Dragon, eh? Since you talked about it.
What? Again, so I really was not. I was watching it. I thought it was fucking stupid.
I think it's stupid.
But also, it's like, it's Dragonite. It's not Gyarados. It's not Charizard. Like, the whole joke of Dragonite has always been, wow, these cool, sleek dragons that become this bumbling fat fuck at the end. Like, that's the whole thing of Dragonite. So, like, it becoming an even bumblier idiot, super on brand, you know? Like,
if you put it in that context, you know, you're not wrong in that part.
Like, it's a stupid design, but in a way that I'm like,
he's a bumbling dragon with wings on his head.
Right. It's like, I also, like, again,
with
I'm 31 years old. I got bills to pay. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, like, it's whatever. Like, it is stupid, but in a way that I can be like, you stupid, not in a, oh, this is so stupid, you know? It's like, they could have done something different with it, but I'm not mad at it.
I think it's just Pokemon doing Pokemon things at this point. Like,
yeah.
Because when I first saw it, I was like, ain't no way this is real. And then I found out it was real. I was like, wow, this is just, wow, all right, cool. And then you think about it, and then you think about what Nintendo does for Pokemon, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
This makes sense for Pokemon to do what Pokemon does, to make things look stupid for no reason, because they will forever attach Pokemon to kids. So it's not for us, it's for kids. And when you think about that, then it's like,
look
whatever.
It makes very sense. Cool and magnificent.
I think I did a tweet about it like after the presents that blew up, but it's like the best thing about Mega Dragonite is you can now make a through evolution line from Patamon to Dragonite to Mega Dragonite to Godramon, and it works really well. It works really well.
I've seen them.
So, all worth it.
Oh my god. What I was gonna say before I'll speak on Guillemot, because I think the reason why people love Guillemot. Do you think that like Tamers is technically the best season? Is that?
So I think Tamers. I think there are faults with it, like every season, but I think it's the one that stands up the best, has the most. Almost everything pays off, right? Like there's not a lot about Tamers where I'm like, oh, like this wasn't, and I think also Savers also pays off really well, but it's not. But the other thing that's key to Tamers is that it is raw. Like the evolution sequences, incredible. Like some of the, like the way the skin peels off them, the embracing of like early 2000s Japan and Tokyo and like the technology, which is why people really love our war game, is that it's such an encapsulation of that era of the internet when everyone was on dial-up and finding out about Saddam over their dial-up internet, and everyone's crowding around going, what the fuck is going, like that was the equivalent for these DigiKids. And I think that's true for Tamers, is that because it had so much setting in the real world, because it's a world where Digimon is a product just like it was to us, it's so easy as a kid to latch onto it, and as an adult to go back to it and go, oh fuck, like I still feel like that. Like I still feel like I'm in a world where the card game is super popular, and what if like, it's scanned and came to life, and like, I think that's why Tamers holds up, is that, and Kanaka is a controversial figure, shall we say, but he's good at what he does. Lane, people like. I don't know how much people like Lane, actually. I think people like Lane, but his vision genuinely guided that show to, I think, stand out. It would work if it wasn't a Digimon season, I think is the big thing. And that's good and bad, because Digimon is integral to its DNA. But then you could, and again, it's a very similar parallel to our war game, where it's like he just wanted to make our war game again, but without Digimon, so he made Summer Wars. Like it's very like you can transplant a lot of these ideas, and I think a lot of it's universal. So yeah, I think again, maybe not narratively. I mean, it's been a hot second since I rewatched Tamers, probably like 5 years or so. But I think it just has more themes and consistency than a lot of other seasons, and again, just a lot of really cool visuals, which. There's cool visuals in the whole franchise, but I think Tamers in specific just hits something.
I think it also has off the rip a darker set of tone. Like the tone of the show is already off rip, like a little darker versus like, let's say you watch 01, 02. They're very, very lighthearted off rip. Yeah, you see Kuwagamon off rip, but it's kind of like the set of it is already set in stone. Like, all right, this is about to be shit is about to go down in this series. People might get bodied. Who knows? Like that's how I feel when I think about remembering Tamers as a grown up, because it's been a while since I've seen Tamers, but it felt a little off. Because then you see like the you see the Deva's pretty early, and so like that was already
and also like the fact that like it's you know they
Rika's kind of badass off rip.
Yeah, killing and absorbing Digimon's data, and like you know, we're coming off the back of the idea of like if Digimon die in the real world, they die, you know. So there's all that kind of thing going on. Yeah.
I also think like another big thing. I like the concept that because I remember watching it as a kid, not the whole thing, just a little bit, Daniel. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like they're playing Digimon,
right?
And Takato like drew his Digimon, and
which we all
his
did.
Digimon is now a real Digimon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably why Guillemon was my favorite. But the other thing is like it's so relatable. Like between that one and all of them, 01, 02, and Adventure or Tamers. It's like as a kid, like I feel like I'm with these kids. As probably why Frontier feels like it's the worst, so to say, is you don't really resonate.
And I think it's probably, I don't know how people would feel about it, but personally, I always think, and that's why a problem I had with Adventure 2020, I always think Digimon stories get really interesting when they bring the action to the human world. Like my favorite arc of Adventure, the original Adventure, is when like Myotismon starts bringing the heat to like Tokyo and Odaiba. And I think that's the same for Tamers, where it's like, oh, so much of this, like it's affecting so close to their home, and they still go to the digital world and stuff. But like, you feel those stakes more when you're
the real world's on the line.
Yeah, totally. And like, it's not something that has to happen, but I think, and they do that in Adventure 2020, just to a smaller extent. But I think that's always very interesting, especially like I say, in Adventure, when it happens, it's like, oh, this is real now, because so much of Adventure is them going, oh, we're not even really us. We're like data versions of ourselves. Like this is all kind of bullshit. Like at the end of the day, like who cares? And then it's like, oh, my mom's about to get killed by a fucking Ogremon. Okay, I gotta sort this out. And then same with Tamers, like the threats, it's fun initially. It's like, oh, we're having, there's a little bit of darkness going on, but it's fun. And then like the stakes ramp up, and then they go to the digital world. And when they come back, it's like, oh, this has gone real bad. We need to sort, and like that again, it naturally ups the stakes just by being in our real world. And
I agree.
Yeah, that's another huge thing at Tamers. And I know some people are like, oh, it takes them so long to go to the digital world. For me, that was never a problem. I think it's cool they get there.
I think it made it more like, I think it made the digital world more special in that sense.
Yeah,
because it was like,
I agree.
It took time to get there. It grew the anticipation of the digital world coming. You know you're gonna get there. I'm sure eventually, like when I watched it, I was like, oh, I wonder when I'm gonna get there. But like the anticipation was like, all right, we got here.
And you know,
but then in that version, the digital world was different compared to what we saw in 01, 02, if I remember correctly. Like it felt more like daring. It felt more, it felt more crazier.
And I think that's another thing about. So I've talked about this in videos, but I feel like it's something that's get lost a lot. Ghost Game is a huge, like it's so much of it is trying to ape Tamers. And you've got Gamamon, who's a little dinosaur companion who has a very dark side to him that they have to learn to suppress. It's Megidramon is Gamamon. Its initial trio, one of the partners is much bigger than it should be for a child, just like Renamon. Like there's a lot of those dynamics that are very Tamersy. And I think Ghost Game spent like 2 episodes in the digital world. I might be wrong. It might be more than that. But like it felt like so much of it was like in the human world to its detriment almost. And it was like, so I think that's an illustration there again of like, you can do a little bit too much of one or a little bit too much of the other. And I think Tamers just hits that balance really well.
Yeah, I remember watching Ghost Game like in the beginning because, like everybody else, I was hyped for a new Digimon series. And I kept up with it maybe until like episode 12 or 13 because I didn't really feel like it was going anywhere. Like, I don't mind Monster of the Week, like whatever, it is what it is. But outside of the like, oh, it's a Gulus Gamamon or a Kaus. Is it Gulus or Kaus?
Gulus.
I think it's Gulus.
Oh, Kaus is
the evil version?
Blue one. Gulus is the evil.
Oh, Kaus is the blue one, yeah. So outside of like the one appearance of Gulus, I think honestly, the last episode I remember is like there was like a Pokemon and Gamamon had just like digivolved or maybe he didn't even digivolve. I think he just like saw like the evil like a sort of like evil shadow from the Gammamon. And I was like, all right, like that seems cool. And then unfortunately, I never I just fell off as I do with everything. Because I have the attention span of a peanut. But then like reading about it afterwards, I was like, oh, so they never really like explored it, never actually did anything with it.
Yeah, I think that is, yeah. And again, and I don't want this to be like hating on Ghost Game, because I think there's lots of
right.
And I know people like it. It's just, for me, it was those things they did set up either weren't resolved or were resolved in a little bit of a meh way. I think there's some really good stuff in the end, if you do get to it, where there's like an internal conflict between the Gulu's personality and the regular Gammamon personality. But yeah, a lot of it just wasn't quite as satisfying, I think, as even like Frontier has much more satisfying moments, in my opinion, or even like Cross Wars,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I joked before Frontier saying it's trash, garbage, but like, it was just, for me, like, I think of Digimon as the first 4 seasons, and to me,
Right.
that's on the bottom of those 4, of that 4. So that's all I joke about it.
It's also fair because, like, I mean, 01, 02, and Tamers.
Yeah, it's
For
very,
most
Most
how I
people,
feel.
it's
Yeah.
those 3.
for me as a I guess a kid and a teenager, when I really fully became aware of Frontier, I was always really put off by the transformation aspect, because I was such a fan of the partnership between human and Digimon. I think that's such a unique thing about the franchise that like even other monster franchises don't explore in the same way. So I think I missed that in Frontier, but then it's also, now that we have so many more seasons that are partner based, I think it's also kind of nice to be like, oh, okay, there's like a different vibe to this now. And there is some really good storytelling in Frontier.
One thing I always like hated about Frontier was that, like, of course we have Strabimon and Flamemon, and I understand like why we have them in Ancient Greymon, Ancient Garuru, but obviously Digimon has the biggest problem with buffing up anybody who is not the protagonist.
Yeah.
So like all of what is it, Beetlemon, Kazemon, and
Chakmon.
yeah, like they never felt like anything because they didn't have the rookie. They have their ancients, but I think like one thing that could have made it, when Takuya got bodied that one time, he came back like sort of reincarnated as a Flamemon in the train station, and it was like, oh, like that's a cool concept. Like you died, but like it's Digimon, your data, you've come back, and now you're a Flamemon. And we never really got to see that for the other characters. And I mean, of course, like I said, every Digimon series, the side characters don't get any love.
And maybe that's why they've just decided with Beat Break just to go with one kid, because then people can't complain. But I do think, I call it like Matt and Tai show syndrome. It has been prevalent from, like, let's not forget, like we said with Try. Originally, only Matt and Tai got Mega Evolutions in Adventure, like everyone else didn't. And that is always like, Davis and Ken get to go to Mega with Imperialdramon, but we just get Shakuamon and Sylphimon. So like it's a massive trope at this point, but I wish they would buck it more. I really do.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's an ensemble cast, I want all of the ensemble to have their big moments, and I feel like it really ultimately just becomes, And
that's what back to the Tamers thing, right? I think Tamers did that well because everybody got their Mega. You saw Galamon.
Even a Marine Angemon.
Galamon. You saw Mega Gargo, Sakuya, Justimon. Justimon came through like hot fire. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end. Even like, you said Marine Angemon. Like everybody got their Digimon to Digivolve. You know what I'm saying? They all had this small little moments and it all felt good. Versus like the others. Like to me, that's why like Frontiers, the characters suck to me, because it's like once it became that, Emperor Grey and Magna Guru, and that was it. It was over. Like they were so irrelevant to anything to the story. It didn't matter what they did. Like I would have preferred they would have went like Ancients instead, and went into those lines, because then it would have gave them something to do besides just sit there, look pretty, and do nothing. It's like, my God. Poor Emperor Grey and Magna Guru got bodied by Lord Nightmon and Dynasmon for 10 episodes. Like, do something, kids. Do something.
I think that is the big problem as well with when your power source all funnels. So like they combined all the spirits into them, and then it's like, well, you can't do anything with anyone anymore because they're all serving as plot armor for two kids.
Yeah.
And it's also a problem with DNA Digivolution in 02 to an extent, because it's like you start funneling two Digimon into one, then you start losing opportunities to do stuff with individual Digimon characters.
I think
what
like another
about
big
those two too. It's not like they didn't have Valkyrmon. Valkyrmon was already a thing by then too. And same with if you want to use Vikemon or whatever /Angemon as a Mega, whichever one you want to use. Those things were around already back then, so you could have gave them to them too. And obviously same with Adventure 01 kids as well, but like you just never got those.
I think like another big thing that's like really cool about like the first three every season except Frontier is because it's the partner Digimon and because you have that dynamic, there's inherently two entities. There's someone and something to bounce back off of. Yeah. But in Frontier, like, sure, there's Bokumon and Nemon. Like, there's Bokumon and Nemon for like the 5 of them. And I think it would have been cooler, like, maybe instead of Flamemon, or even if Flamemon was a thing, if they all had gotten one, but it was like, when they spirit digivolve, it's like, all right, I'm a Goonimon, like I'm Takuya, I have spirit digivolved into a Goonimon, but I also have like the ancient voice talking to me.
There's like a bit, I think, again, it's been a hot second, but towards the end, they sort of do talk to the spirits. Right. Like as separate entities. I feel like maybe that could have been a thing. Almost having the spirits be like the Iron Man AI.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The kids are like, or like the Blue Beetle.
What do I do here, Goonimon?
And then the Goonimon's like, and he's like, whoa, I didn't know I could do that. You know, that would have maybe, I don't know, added a little something to it, perhaps.
Embrace that like partner aspect. Like, I am now a Goonimon. Hey, we're getting bodied at Goonimon. What do we do?
Right. Or even if you, like you mentioned before, the Flamemon, if they had the Flamemon or like Strawbymon, and if they made, if they have some of them forms. have rookies, but like, the moment they go to the champion level, they fuse together, and then that's like them talking and so on. They keep Evo, Beast Evolution, yada yada yada, whatever. And I think like that would give it more like Beast Evolution, and he was going berserk made no sense to me because I remember watching it as a kid. I was like, why? So like, I don't get it. But all right. But if you had that Flamemon with you, right, that you went Beast Evolution and he went Pharaoh, it makes sense why. Burning Greymon is going crazy because you can't control it and you're with them or something, I don't know, something like that. That would have been pretty cool. Now you're talking about it type shit.
I say that as I do really enjoy Frontier a lot. I enjoy it a lot more now than I used to back then. I'm a really big Red Hybrid fan now. I did not. You got
my friend Tom very well. Yep.
I did not used to be a Red Hybrid fan. I've come around mainly because we'll end the conversation on like a little Digimon card game stuff. I was like the biggest yellow enjoyer. I loved the concept of, I loved original yellow hybrid. I'm just going to digivolve into Jet Sylphimon. I'm going to recover to death. And then I'm going to go into like this stupid level 6, whatever I'm going to do. And I'm just going to keep recovering and you're not going to be able to kill me.
Right.
Yellow decks hate me though.
And I say that very defensive style back in the day.
I say that because I just rebuilt Kentorismon. So if Tyrannomon is one of my like favorite, like if I count that as being like my partner, Kentorismon is definitely one of my favorite Digimon.
Okay.
And I love Kentorismon, and I love the concept of Kudamon Kentorismon, probably because of Savers. But man, I'm trying to play it with Gino last week, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot. Yellow decks absolutely hate me. They don't play well with me at all. Like, I don't have these problems when I play any other deck. It's only a yellow deck that I can have these problems.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, I can't like yellow hybrid anymore, so I like red hybrid.
I have a similar curse but like not just for me, for the meta. I'll see something come out, like Eosmon. They're like, oh, that's so cool. You can get 50 copies. This is going to have so much potential. Shite. No, awful. No one, it doesn't work. Okay. All right. D-Reaper, like by itself, not Shoto Mother or whatever the fuck. That sounds like a great form. I'm going to give this a go. No, it worked for half an hour and then everyone built a deck that fucks it over. Another reason why every time I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Because I know as soon as I find a deck cool, it's not going to be viable. And I'm going to get my shit pushed in. like immediately.
Yeah. That's where like I've ended up. So like, how much of course, I'm sure you keep up with the card game because Digimon universe. So like, where are you? Do you play it right now?
I currently do. So there's like I played the TCG before it was in English.
Okay.
Me and Tom and a few friends were playing the translated tabletop simulator version back when the rules were badly translated and we thought on play triggered on digivolving. So Yellow was fucking broken in that version of the game that was wrong.
Oh yeah.
Like Magnanimon BT1 or whatever it was.
Oh,
so like I said, I played through to like BT5, BT6, and then like my friends, there's no local scene as far as I'm aware. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to dox where I'm from, but there's no local scene. So it was really only online. And my friends are like 5 to 8 hours behind me. So I really fell off of that, but I've kept up, like you say, with Liberator, with the TCG. So I'm aware of a lot of cards, but not really the meta. And I think I was so I know there's clients, unfortunately, in my position, using the clients can be a problem. Also, putting a light on the clients can cause an issue for the people that make the client. So I also can't really do that publicly. So Elysian is save me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Like it really is. Like I'm sitting here waiting for Elysian.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm so excited I know they've been demoing it at there's a event going on in Singapore right now. I can't remember what it's called, but they've been demoing it to the participants there. And I know they demoed it at Anime Expo.
Yep.
And like I've only heard good things about it. I'm like, I hope this means that since you're demoing it, means we're going to get a demo announcement or some sort of open, or even if it's a closed beta that we can apply for within the next couple months. Because I love Digimon and I love the card game.
I have a suspicion a closed beta could be December or even November. I'm pretty sure well, I don't want to say pretty sure. I have a strong suspicion this is by the latest Q2 2026 game. I think honestly, like because they're demoing it now, and they're also demoing Time Stranger, which is an October release. Like they're not going to want to, even though they're very different games, you don't want to clash too much. I mean, there's good brand synergy and there's also clashing. I don't think this game is a year out. I think it's like 6 to 8 months at most.
Yeah, I mean, based on the looks of it, like when we got it back at I think it was Digimon Con. Right?
Yeah,
It was like, I was like, this is so far ahead. Like, this isn't just something that you bring up out of the blue. This was at least 2-3 years in the making. It had to be. Like,
and I felt so much vindication because I had so many people telling me like, they're not going to put money into a client. It doesn't make sense. And then like I literally had this big paragraph for someone like, the game's not making enough money. And then this year, Elysian's announced, and we get the thing that it's like not only is it making money, it's making more money than it made last year. You know, like, So it honestly just feels good. Like on the TCG side, the TCG synergy is so good right now. But then I think also the brand overall, we've got Elysian and Liberator, we've got Beat Break and whatever else is coming, and we've got Digimon Story Time Stranger.
Yep. Oh,
we're eating good. Digimon fans are eating good right now.
When you dropped that video and you were like, I got to play Time Stranger, and you were like, and I invited me. I was like, what? That's insane.
The craziest thing about that is that it was in motion since April.
Oh man.
I was just sat on it, and at one point I thought it wasn't happening, and then they got back to me, and getting to go like to Summer Game Fest. Obviously, I'm flying a much longer way than American people and stuff. That was a huge thing in itself. But then when I like go to shake the guy who's making this game's hand and introduce myself, and he's like, bro, I know who you are. I was like, oh,
I was like, oh my goodness, there's no way. Like, that's so awesome. Cool. Especially as, fellow content creators, it's like, wow, like that recognition, that like acknowledgement of especially what you do for the Digimon community. Because realistically, there's like very few Digimon creators who are like keeping up and putting out that consistent level of content to keep interest going when interest is waning. So it's like, I'm sure it felt like vindication in a way.
Totally.
And it's like, oh man, like this is awesome. Like this is this is the pinnacle. Like, this is where you want to be.
Like, yeah, I mean, the only thing I could even hope, like, the only thing above this is like being either involved or referenced in a piece of, like, I want to be an NPC or something, you know what I mean? In Time Stranger. That's the only, I've hit the limit, you know? But then I also think I'm very, I've talked about this with Corey, the DigiGuard. I'm also a very big proponent of like rising tides lift all ships. And I think there is this tendency in other communities where like I got mine, pull the ladder up. But something that I thought was really cool that Hara said, and something that I think is hugely important, is that he's like, we love your videos and we think content creators are really important. And I think that is a huge, like you guys doing this podcast, people doing whatever it might be. It's so important for a fandom to have creators of all levels and of all interests, because that shows to the brand that there's interest, and also the SEO is going to go crazy. If I search Digimon now, there are so many more creators than even when I started in 2020. There was like 4 or 5 of us maybe, especially with the TCG, like you guys are doing this stuff. I think it's incredible. And it only, like, I think there's this tendency to think like, well, if I'm succeeding, I've got to like, it's got to be all about me. But every time someone else starts talking about the TCG in another way, one of my videos is getting pushed. And same for them. If my video does well, someone else's TCG video, someone else's Time Stranger video is getting pushed. Yep. And I think it's the most important thing in the world that we don't have to be all like best friends or whatever, but I think it's competition, healthy competition or friendliness is so important, and it does matter to the product. And I think that's why we're seeing Time Stranger the way it is, Beat Break the way it is.
Oh yeah.
The communication with the TCG and Elysian being what it is, the world convergence, because people are actually talking about this shit in a way that isn't just like forum text or Twitter text, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that was a huge takeaway for me, is that they are listening, and that investing in the community, not just myself, was like the correct thing to do, I guess.
Yep, exactly. That's honestly the biggest thing for me as well. It's just the fact that there's finally an acknowledgement, because, you know, as a Star Wars fan,
right,
Disney has severely disappointed all of us.
Yes.
And, you know, Digimon has such a crazy lore. I mean, just the fact that they were just like, all right, here's Shambhala. It's an entirely other digital world with so much more lore to explore.
Right. Yeah.
And to acknowledge like the fan base, how we feel about it, and just everything is, it feels so nice to be connected on that level.
Yes, absolutely. And like I say, I'm glad also, like, it was cool to be one of the first to play, but I'm glad that there wasn't that gap. And that, I mean, obviously it'd be great if there was like a home demo for Time Stranger that people could play on their consoles, but I'm glad that the gap between me getting to play and like industry, like press getting to play, and then people just attending Anime Expo and stuff getting to play was like short, because we get so many more eyes on it and so many more people.
Oh yeah.
Like, the hype at the Anime Expo demos where people were like posting like DNA Digivolution in battle that I didn't even see. Like, yeah, huge, amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So that is it for today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. Karn, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Honestly, I looked at the clock and I was like, holy shit, an hour 50? Yeah. What the hell? Yeah. Where did the last hour go?
For sure.
So it was a pleasure having you on. Guys, if you want to check out some really great content for Digimon, please do go subscribe to Karn EX's channel. He is fantastic, and we super appreciate you for coming on today with us.
Yeah,
thanks
thank you
for having me, guys. I appreciate it. It's been very fun.
So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll shoot them over to Karn, and if he has time to answer, he most certainly will. Anyways, that is it for today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and until I talk to you guys the next time.
Bye-bye.
Catch you on the next one.
All right, awesome.
Quick question. Is your wall right there of OG Digimon cards?
Yes.
Oh, man.
It is. I was looking at them.